History to society is what memory is to the individual. It provides a sense of identity, helps us make sense of the world, and provides lessons of right from wrong. Museums have been created in order to ensure our current and future generations understanding and appreciation for our collective heritage. Museums can be thought of as institutions charged with conserving, protecting, and displaying artifacts from our past, and thus preserving our rich heritage, which might otherwise be lost to private collectors or to time itself. People from around the world travel to museums in order to learn about their ancestors, hoping to understand their lifestyle and culture. Certain exhibits, such as the Medieval and Renaissance Gallery at the Victoria and Albert Museum, do a great job of creating a personal experience for each visitor. The impeccable detail and display of this exhibit allows the visitor an opportunity to view the lifestyle of their medieval ancestors through a unique, practically microscopic lens. The Victoria and Albert Museum is the world's largest museum of decorative arts and design. It houses a permanent collection of over 2.3 million objects. The Medieval and Renaissance galleries are home to one of the world's most remarkable collections of treasures from that time period. The medieval art section of the exhibit showcases pieces from the time period while intriguing visitors through its unique display. As you walk into the entrance of the exhibit, you are surrounded by pieces stemming directly from 500 to 1500 AD. Gothic architecture is avidly incorporated throughout the museum's display. Gothic style was typical of the medieval time period. Stained glass windows, clustered columns, and pointed arches covered each individual room of the exhibit. By incorporating Gothic architecture, the museum display is able to convey meaning. In other words, these Gothic details in the construction of the exhibit itself allow the visitor to feel as if he or she is walking through a building originating from the medieval time period. Many of these items are ones we, modern-day humans, still use today. By placing these types of items within the exhibit, the visitor is enabled a much more personal experience. Being an exhibit based on a time period no one is alive to remember forces us to turn to history, specifically historical artifacts, in order to educate ourselves on what life was like. Items such as books not only show us parts of the culture of the time, but prove that the people of the medieval times may not be so different from us after all. In addition to incorporating objects from the time period in order to comment on the culture of the medieval people, the exhibit provides an actual map from the time period itself. This map is a reproduction of its original, created sometime around the 1300s. At the time, it was the largest and most detailed map of the world. In addition, this map says a lot about their understanding of the world, which we would not be able to grasp as well from simply reading about it in a textbook. This map provides a visual for better understanding. Located in the same room is an area for brass rubbing. Tools and stencils are set there for visitors to take part in this special medieval tradition. These brass art pieces were typically made to memorialize the loss of a loved one or to depict some type of saint. They were popularized by people of the middle class for over a century. This hands-on portion of the exhibit is something that both children and adults can take part in. In the final section of the exhibit, two types of medieval dress are displayed. They are hung against the mirror, allowing visitors the opportunity to try them on. Similar to the brass rubbing, this is a fun and interactive portion of the exhibit for people of all ages to take part in. Furthermore, This also gives us knowledge of what women of the time wore and what fashion was like in comparison to today. This exhibit as a whole incorporates various items that allow the visitor to feel as if they are living in the medieval era. In addition, it utilizes hands-on activities and visual elements in order to appeal to people of all ages. I would highly recommend this exhibit to anyone visiting London in the near future.